coming to the rally today. Woo! So we'll be starting shortly, but for those speakers and yes, community partners, please come to the middle so that we could take a photo. And I'm so sorry, Senator Shalom, I almost hit you. All the elected officials, please come. Hello, Councilmember Lee. Hi, Mitch.
Please get together, closer, closer, closer. I know it's hard, I'm sorry. All right, thank you all for coming.
Sorry.
Thank you for taking the photo, but we're gonna pose. So let's do it one more time. So everybody is here, right? Okay.
Just get closer. 1, 2. One more. Closer. Thank you. All right, all the life certificates, please go stand behind the podium, and then all the students go on the left.
We'll now ask the crowd to join us in front of the podium, please.
You want us to go to the left, Joanna?
To your left.
Like here?
Testing. All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for coming to KFSC's rally against sexual assault. I would like to start off by thanking Queensborough President Donovan Richards for lending us space to host this important rally. We are the Youth Community Project team, and we came here today to spread awareness. Awareness of the fact that around the world, even at this moment, someone is getting sexually assaulted. We have come together today because we as people know what is right and what is wrong.
Despite many efforts to stop this issue, there are still countless instances of sexual assault. Every 68 seconds, an American is sexually assaulted. Every 9 minutes, that victim is a child. In just September of 2022, reported sexual assaults in New York had increased by 11%, not including unreported assaults. Meanwhile, only 25 out of every 1,000 assailants end up in prison, perpetuating the cycle of violent behavior around us.
Over the past 34 years, KFSC has continuously strived to offer a range of services for survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, and child abuse. From conducting various outreach events citywide to attending KFSC's annual silent marches, YCPT has continuously fought alongside KFSC to eradicate gender-based violence within our communities. YCPT spreads awareness in numerous communities and combines prevention and intervention of sexual assault through KFSC's various resources, empowering ourselves and others alike through shared compassion, respect, and dignity is a core part of our mission. Last year alone, KAFSC received 4,958 calls to its 24-hour bilingual hotline and provided over 3,000 services to immigrant families in need. These numbers are a byproduct of our astounding impact in our communities, and we must continue these efforts to contribute towards a better society.
We will now introduce the individual who gives us the drive to fight tirelessly for the underserved immigrant community and survivors of gender-based violence. It is incredible to not only watch her passion for the work that translates to the betterment of our beloved neighborhoods, but also for constant alignment with the values of YCPT. Without further ado, please join us in welcoming the Korean American Family Service Center's Executive Director, Ji-hye Fisher.
Morning, everyone. It's really wonderful to see you all on a Friday, really hot day / good day. Our YCPT has been working really, really hard to put this rally together. So I would like to give a round of applause for them and all the friends and allies and elected officials who are here standing solidarity to amplify the voices of our immigrant survivors of sexual assault, sexual violence. And at this time, I thought this will be the most appropriate person who deserve Catalyst Award, who's been fighting and working hard to make a better life for the immigrant survivors of sexual assault and who is also have the long-standing friendship with KFSC. I would like to present this award to Assembly Member Neely Rosick. Maybe we could all take a photo together. That would be great.
All right. Thank you so much to everyone who's here. Because at the end of the day, I am very aware of my point of privilege, my place in power. But we are here for those who are survivors and those who are surviving. And even on the hottest day, we cannot forget that we carry their stories with us, that we carry their testimonies with us, and that the work continues to break the silence and end the violence of gender-based and sexual violence that is rampant in our communities. For as long as I've been elected, I've kept these stories, these testimonials, all of the efforts that groups like KAFSC, Womankind, Communities Resist, all of the work that you all do every day, I've brought it with me into the halls of government, whether that's here in Queens or up in Albany, because I know that there is so much more work to be done. And I stand shoulder to shoulders, not just with all of you, but for those who are not here, those who still have yet to tell their stories, who are still worried about their day-to-day life. We stand here, we go to Albany to legislate, we tell the stories so that future generations, everyone behind us, everyone coming up behind us, has a better life, has an easier struggle, and ultimately can come out with their lives transformed and in a better place. So thank you to Ji-hye and to the entire team for putting this together. Hopefully one day we will not have to have these rallies, we will not have to have these marches. But in the meantime, we stand together to break the silence and end the violence.
That's right.
Thank you, Assemblywoman Millie Rosick. My name is Edward Sun, and on behalf of the Youth Community Project team in KAFSC, I will now be introducing our community leaders who stand with us in our mission to stop sexual assault. We will now welcome Deputy Queensborough President Ebony Young.
It is so good to have everyone out here today, and on behalf of our borough president, we stand in breaking the silence and ending the violence, but we don't do this alone. We absolutely do not. We do this in solidarity. We do this with the people that have fought the most. If I can have 4 or 5 of you come on up here with your signs. 60% of women say they have experienced unwanted sexual attention or comments at work. It's not your fault. Consent is as easy as a cup of tea. Advocate, educate, and empower. That is why we are out here today. So today we stand up and out against sexual violence. Today we raise our voices and raise up all those surviving among us. Today we show Queens in this city that sexual assault will never be normalized in our society. Thank you to the Korean American Family Services Center for putting this rally together and for all that it does to hold space for our survivors. Looking around, I see the familiar faces of people working day and night to protect victims and empower survivors of sexual assault. From our partners at KFSCS to the Queens Family Justice Center to Sanctuary for Families. Survivors, please know that support is here for you today and every single day. Together, we will fight sexual assault at its ugly, ugly roots. This means increasing access to information about healthy relationships and consent, addressing the ways that people are made vulnerable to assault through homophobia and racism, investing towards social safety nets so no survivor has to stay in an unsafe situation. I am proud to say that my office is here to support survivors with navigating services and referrals. We held a Healthy Relationships Conference in October and a Women's Health Conference in March for support. We partner with service providers to expand opportunities for best practices and trainings and know your rights trainings. And with ongoing collaborations with Planned Parenthood, we are advocating to make accessible services available to everyone in our communities. We will continue to do so with everything we have to empower survivors and our community partners who serve them. But we cannot do this alone. Victims and empower survivors of sexual assault matters. We are encouraged today by all who have come out to support this effort. I ask that you don't only stand here, that you don't only listen to these speeches today, but that you do something to activate your power each and every day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll now welcome Senator John Liu.
I agree with everything everybody has said already and everything everybody's about to say. We have been through this many times before. In fact, this is one of the hallmarks of KFSC too, whether it be the silent march through downtown Flushing or now this annual rally against sexual violence and sexual assault. This is something that continues to be needed every single year. And I think it's even better that our young people, the YCPT has taken on this project now. It is through all of our efforts that will break the silence and end the violence, but it is particularly with our next generation that we will see an end to this one day when we no longer have to have this kind of rally. I join my colleagues in government in providing ever more resources for KFSC and all the partner organizations here to fight gender-based violence. Let's keep going. There's more work yet to be done. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now welcome Assembly Member Amanda Septimo.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Septimo, and I represent the 84th Assembly District in the South Bronx. Now, that's a little ways away from Queens, but I wanted to come here because we all know, we all have seen the statistics, we've all heard the story. It is impossible to be a person in this world and not be touched by sexual assault or know someone who has been. And that is the unfortunate reality that we're here to fight against. So I want to thank the Korean American Family Services Center for leading this important event, but I also want to thank every single one of you, because these stories are made up of real people who are impacted. And the only thing that has ever brought change that has been positive is people who are impacted. And so every single one of you being here today creates the space for the world that we're all dreaming about. This space for a world where people are able to speak up freely and know that they are going to be respected, they are going to be valued, and that there is going to be meaningful change. Knowing that we are not rallying just for the sake of rallying, we're not standing together just because we want to hang out in the sun, though the sun is nice. We're coming here to make sure that we're creating a world where change is possible, and that change is only possible because of work like this. And so I want to say that I came here from the Bronx because we know it's an issue in the Bronx, but it's an issue all over New York. And I'm standing in solidarity here with everyone in Queens working on this, knowing that one day we will, as someone just said, we will realize a world where sexual assault is a thing of the past, and it'll be because of events like this. So thank you so much for having me, and thank you for all your work.
Thank you. We'll now welcome Assemblyman Edward Bronstein.
Good morning. I want to start by thanking KFSC and GHA for all the great work that you do. And I really want to thank the youth team. This is really important. And as someone said at the beginning, some of the statistics that we hear about the prevalence of sexual assault in our country are really heartbreaking. But the only way we're going to make change is if we openly confront it and we talk about it. And it's events like this where we take a topic that is sometimes uncomfortable to talk about it, but it's important that we create public awareness and people know that this is an issue and it's not something that we have to stand for. It's unacceptable, and individuals need to know that if they need help, that there's organizations like KAFSC out there where people can find safety, where people can find guidance, and it's important that we let people know what's going on is not acceptable, and there is help if people want to make themselves available to it. And I appreciate the opportunity to join all of you in creating awareness today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll now welcome Assemblymember Jessica Gonzalez Rojas.
Thank you. After Ed, I have to bring the microphone down. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for the Korean American Family Service Association for helping lead this effort. And I particularly want to thank the young people who are behind organizing this effort. This issue of sexual assault is actually very deeply personal to me. Back in 1998, when I was in college, one of my first acts of political courage was to join an event called Take Back the Night. And it was a day in which, an evening in which, we reclaimed the nights in which folks were sexually harmed and sexually assaulted and impacted by sexual violence. And we held candles, and we did a march, and we did a rally, and then we had a speak out on the campus that I went to at Boston University. And since that time, I've actually been a survivor of sexual violence, something that I held in my heart for decades without talking openly about it. And it wasn't until I ran for office and I recognized the power that I had as someone with a voice and a platform and an opportunity to create systemic change for other survivors that I spoke up. Last year, we passed the Adult Survivors Act, and that allows for, yes, thank you. Please give us a round of applause for that. It was years in the making. It was years of courageous survivors coming forward and telling their stories. And what it did is create a look-back window for someone to be able to sue their perpetrator of the violence that they cause upon them, to be able to seek justice. And justice doesn't mean a carceral system oftentimes. There's many routes to justice, but what's important is that there was an opportunity for someone to come forward and share their story and feel like there was an opportunity to pursue justice. And that's what the Adult Survivors Act did for so many. And that look back window is closing soon. So if you feel compelled to come forward and to fight, there's still an opportunity to do so, I think, through the end of June. But that day that we passed that bill was the first time I publicly shared that I was raped back in 1998 at the age of 21. And that was a really difficult moment for me, but it was also a very healing moment for me because I held that for decades. I'm 46 years old and I hadn't told that story publicly until last year. So the work that you're doing gives me courage, gives other people courage to speak out because our voices are so powerful. And these stories are necessary to begin the healing process, to achieve justice, and to ultimately end a world where we are experiencing sexual violence. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that. And we will continue to fight to eradicate sexual violence in our country, in our state, in our city, until it happens. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll now welcome Assembly Member Ron Kim's representative, Ji Yoon Ing.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jian from Assemblymember Ron Kim's office. Assemblymember Kim regrets not being able to attend today's rally because of the conflict schedule, but he would like to thank KAFSC for leading the rally against sexual assault and thank all elected officials and community leaders for standing together. He pledges to continue to work with KAFSC and his colleagues to help victims and survivors of sexual assault while doing all that they can to prevent future cases and make all our community safer. Thank you. Oh.
Thank you. We'll now welcome Council Member Sandra Ong.
Good morning. I'm New York City Councilman Sandra Ong, representing District 20. I want to thank KFSSC and all the groups, and especially youth groups for coming out here today. You know, sexual violence, domestic violence is not something that happens in one community. It stretches all community. And we must provide a space where people could talk openly about it. And we must provide a space where someone needs help. It's not too ashamed, it's not too embarrassed. They know there's help out there. Just recently at the 109 police precinct, which is my police precinct, which actually has 73% Asians, half of the felony assaults there were of domestic dispute. This is something we must work together to bring that number down. We must ask, why is this happening? I'm so honored here today to be with actually all the other elected officials at all different levels, so we can work on this together. And because everyone's sharing this story about sexual assault today, I shared this story first last year here. So when I was a high school student, I was walking home, and I remember a group of boys taunting me and then grabbing me for like many blocks before, actually no one helped me, and then finally they went away. And I remember that time, I was too embarrassed to talk to the school about it. I was too embarrassed to talk to my police precinct about it because I thought this is something I did to myself. Like why, like this is something, and I was really too ashamed to even really share this with anybody. So I'm sharing this today because I want to let everybody know that these type of behavior is not right. And it's just so important that we speak out. And again, I want to thank the groups here today for giving us the space to speak out. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now welcome Council Member Linda Lee.
Good morning, everyone. It's so great to be here with all of you. I just want to say thank you to Jihae and all your leadership at 가정상담소 KFSC, and thank you to all of our youth and all of our amazing 봉사 team. 이세주, thank you. 너무 감사합니다. Thank you so much for being here and for all your leadership. And as someone who worked alongside many of these organizations, we have CORE, we have Asian American Federation, we have a lot of CPC. I saw Mitch. We have a lot of allies here who've been working together in the community for so many years. And one of the things that I want to highlight that KFSC does that's so important is the linguistic and cultural sensitivity that they bring to this issue. Because we all know that there's so much stigma around sexual assault, gender-based violence, domestic violence, and we've seen such a huge uptick since COVID and people who are actually living with their abusers. And so I just want to really uplift the work that you all do, and especially having a place for our community members to come to where they can speak to someone in their own language and to someone who understands the cultural nuances that exist, I think is extremely important. And we are in the most diverse borough in the entire country. And so we have to acknowledge and be thankful so much for all the work that you guys do in the community. And I just want to give a special shout out to our Assemblywoman, JGR, as well as Sandra Ong, our Councilwoman, because it takes a lot of courage to actually speak up and speak out about this. And I know that you guys speaking up about it is really giving others the voice and courage to come forward as well and seek the help they need. So I just want to give a special thank you all to that. And just congratulations for all the work that you guys are doing. And we will continue to support however we can in our capacity. So thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll now welcome Queens Family Justice Center Executive Director Susan Jacobs.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be here with all of you. I want to give a huge shout out to the youth at Korean American Family Service Center, and of course, Jihae Fisher, the amazing leader. The Mayor's Office to End Domestic Violence is thrilled to be here with all of you. The New York City Family Justice Centers are walk-in centers. All services are free and confidential for domestic and gender-based violence survivors. And in Queens in particular, we're actually right across the street at 126.02 82nd Avenue. And I want to thank each and every one of you because I want to tell everyone that they are not alone and there is help out there. Thank you again.
Thank you. We'll now welcome Evelyn Gom, who is running to become the first woman of color as a judge in Queens Civil Court.
Hi everyone, I'm Evelyn Gong and I'm a lawyer in the Queens community. I'm also running for judge in Queens Civil Court. I want to thank KFSC and the co-sponsoring organizations for their tireless work in the community. Their work is more important than ever given recent court rulings. And far too often, sexual assault is underreported in the Asian American and immigrant communities. So we really need to ensure that survivors are believed. They deserve our compassion. So I want to thank the survivors for their courage. You're not alone. You are strong and inspirational. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now be inviting our community partners to the stage. Please welcome the Asian American Federation, Ah-Young Kim.
Thank you, KFSC, Jihae, for creating this opportunity for everyone to come together on this important topic. And thank you, elected officials and community members, for being with us today. My name is Ah-Young Kim. I'm the Director of Economic Empowerment at the Asian American Federation. The AAF is a community umbrella leadership organization that works to lift the well-being of Asian American communities across New York City, representing and advocating for the 1.5 million Asian American community members. This topic is something so important to us, but apart from just the issue and the dialogue of survivors and the perpetrators, I also want to lift the fact that the Korean American Family Services Center also works to make sure that they're uplifting our survivors from an economic point of view. They are empowering our community members from a a meaningful manner where they're training people for better jobs, training people on how to be better integrated as immigrants in our society, and making sure that everybody has the help and support that they need. And we, as a federation, are very happy and proud to stand in this line of work with the Korean American Family Services Center. I also want to take a moment to talk from a personal point of view. Thank you, Assembly Member Jessica Gonzalez Rojas, as well as Council Member Sandra Ong, for opening this space up to talk about your personal experiences. Without groups like Korean American Family Services Center, we would not be able to have this kind of conversations. And as somebody that has also been a survivor, the first time I was molested, I was 5 years old. Nobody told me it was not my fault. Second time, I was 13 years old. People told me it was my fault. And following times, I stopped telling people because I was never given this kind of tool and the messaging that the Korean American Family Services Center gives us. And this kind of messaging and the community space for us to have this conversation and to uplift our survivors and to make sure that they understand that they have the support they need and they stop blaming themselves and they learn how to put up their boundaries is much more important than just talking about like the numbers, right? So thank you so much, Jihei, for all you're doing. I don't know where you are right now, but and thank you, Korean American Family Services Center, for all your work. Please let us know if we can do anything to support your work further. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now welcome the Chinese American Planning Council, Mitch Wu.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming out on this warm, sunny Friday. I won't take too much time because I know we're just kind of baking here in the sun, but the issue here that we're trying to bring to light is very important. My name is Mitchell Wu. I'm the director of the Queens Community Services for the Chinese American Planning Council. My pronouns are he and him. And really fast, CPC, we provide wraparound social services for over 280,000 New Yorkers every year, everything from early childhood to senior services and everything in between. Now, we also get a lot of referral calls when it comes to issues about domestic issues, domestic problems, and also about where people can go when they have fear, right? And so we're always very happy to support this issue, to support KAFSC, to bring light about this, to let people know that they can talk about it, that there are culturally competent services that can connect with you. I just want to share one quick story. That we actually recently provided a referral to KFSC, and this was actually a call from New Jersey. Somebody was in a very unhappy and unsafe environment in New Jersey and had to provide that referral. Now, I know we're in New York and I know we're in Queens, but one thing I want to say is that I'm not trying to say that the reach goes as far as out of New York City, but I think one of the takeaways is that there are people that are scared and they just don't know where to go, right? And even people as far as New Jersey will try to find resources and connect the people here in Queens. And so again, we're really happy to bring upon again raising the voices, raising awareness about this because there are a lot of people that are still facing these issues, and we need to bring this more to light. And we're happy to stand in solidarity with all these other organizations today, from Federation, I See Voices Latina, Communities Resist, and if I forget to mention you, I just want to thank you all again for coming together and standing in solidarity and supporting this issue. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll now welcome Communities Resist's Erin Hannigan.
Hello, my name is Erin Hennigan, and I'm an attorney with Communities Resist. We are honored to join so many dynamic organizations in supporting the Korean American Family Service Center and Queensborough President Donovan Richards at today's Rally for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. I'd like to thank the youths for coming and for their beautiful posters. I think it's so important to start so young, speaking out, break the silence, end the violence. It is so important. At Communities Resist, we fight the root causes of housing displacement by organizing tenants and providing free legal services to ensure that New Yorkers have access to safe, affordable homes. So many of us know someone who's survived domestic violence or sexual assault. 81% of women report some form of sexual harassment or assault in their lifetime. I'm here speaking on behalf of Communities Resist today because I've been fighting for justice and fair treatment of survivors of domestic and sexual violence for the last 11 years. This is a cause that's really very deep in my heart, and it's the reason I went to law school. At Communities Resist, I've seen firsthand how our current housing affordability crisis compounds the dire problem. Many survivors are trapped in unsafe living situations because they're afraid, and they won't be able to secure affordable housing if they leave, or they're faced with eviction of unbearable housing conditions, where they're forced into vulnerable situations in shelters, where there are nearly 600 cases of sexual assault reported in 2019. We can't silo our approaches to these issues. Housing justice and the safety and security of the victims of sexual assault and domestic violence go hand in hand. This is why Communities Resist stands with KAFSC and Borough President Richards, and of course with the many, many survivors to speak up against domestic violence and sexual assault, such as our elected officials who spoke here just today about their own experiences. Thank you so much for sharing. It's so important for the people in power to make space for those who don't have it, to be able to speak up. So today we stand firm in supporting KAFSC, but most of all, we remain steadfast in backing the survivors who rely on us for assistance. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As the weather has been getting hot, like further in the day, we'd like to take a group photo in front of the podium. So we'd like all participants, including YCPT, to come in front of the podium so we can take a group picture. Thank you.
So we're just gonna gather together so that we could have a group photo.
YCPT leaders.
Really, oh, just you. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Thank you. All our volunteers.
Yes, I do actually recognize that, again, they have strong orders not to interact with myself. Probably from Grace May.
Hi, please look here too.
I sent a parade of emails. I can't wait to hear from y'all. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah? I'm gonna show it all on the video. A parade of emails that I've sent. Let's talk, all right? Y'all say you're gonna help people. What's up? Yeah, y'all say you're gonna help people. I'll show the laundry list. It's going back months, begging for help. Yeah, months. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I hope y'all do. I'm working. I hope I get. Now I'm gonna approach the officials. Let's see. Start running.
Yes. I'm waiting. Sorry, I gotta go. Sorry.